Ladies, gentlemen, everyone outside and in between, welcome to the second day of the W3Champions finals. We are here to conclude the quarterfinals of the 2-on-2, the second part of the 1-on-1, and find the grand finalists for the FFA. And we got a very special guest once again for the 2-on-2 section, 4 a.m. in Western Americana land. Monk, how you doing? Are you ready?
I'm doing great. Although by the overlay, it seems like Remo is the guest today, as Neo, you and I are the named ones on the stream.
Oh, yeah, I
So
sometimes see...
welcome to the cast, Remo.
Thank you. I am very honored to be guest today. Yes, this will be first time for me casting 2v2 in the W3Champions, and I'm very excited.
Very excited. What do you know about 2-on-2?
Very little, to be honest. Games can get hectic. It can get epic. We saw some sick games yesterday, right? I couldn't believe the TC solo, Bottom solo, for example, would work out in the late game with an undead being triple level 5 heroes, having perfect items, but Scars, the mad lad, just stomping and pumping. Yeah, very different game mode, very different meta, and I am here to enjoy and learn and not really know very much of what's going on, to be honest.
It doesn't matter because we got Monk by our side, who is a certified 2-on-2 expert.
I try. It's just the game mode I enjoy, but Remo, I don't know if you can say that you don't know anything about 2-on-2, because as I believe, you are currently the back to Warcraft 2-on-2 champion along with Neo.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That spent some time, but yeah, I guess we are. I mean, nobody challenged us in the past 2 years.
Thank God.
Everyone is afraid. What do you mean, thank God? We'd be a great team.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Double undead, bro. It's a rough task.
Well, as you learned Thursday at Creepjack, I can play Night Elf just fine.
True. I mean, anybody can. Good point. Yeah, we haven't seen, by the way, any mirror match, or did you call it a mirror match? Not exactly, but teams playing the same race twice, right? In 2v2, is that really a thing? I suppose not.
Yeah, I would say that probably Night Elf and Night Elf is the most common matchup or the most common team where the two races are matched up against each other. I know like Infi and TH used to do double human back in the day, and but I'm not sure if that was like for fun or or if they actually thought that was a good race combination. Night Elf is just, I think, overall just the most versatile race in 2-on-2, so it makes sense that they can team up with each other. Generally, the problem with two races on the same or the same race on or two of the same race on a single team is that your unit compositions in the late game like are less varied. So you can't use like the strengths of your races as easily. For example, Night Elf in the late game, their siege isn't particularly good, so they don't have any good siege options in the late game. And as the games go on, they really try to like stay away from very straight up late games where you actually try to take a big fight, because generally they're always going to lose in that situation.
There have been some legendary 2-on-2 teams, especially in the North America region. We think back to Strifecrow and Axlav, absolute legends. But yeah, you're right. And I struggled to get Remo on this broadcast. Something is wrong with the input. No worries, Remo. I'll fix you. People will be able to see you in a bit. But yeah, maybe we can recap yesterday a little bit. We had Dark and Riva, one of the, I think the Rara Land 2-on-2 champions, being eliminated by Nabu and Hailua.
Yeah, quite a surprise there, I would say. It was a Night Elf and Human Mirror matchup, in which Dark and Reaver were probably the two more experienced 2-on-2 in team. They're very known for 2-on-2, whereas Smurf and Hailua are more of the wild cards. Smurf played in the previous 2-on-2 War3 Champions finals in the last season. He didn't make it past the first match, but he's back with a new ally in this particular match. And if I were to summarize the two games overall that we saw, as of course it was a 2-0, it was just that Smurf and Hailua just out executed their opponents at every turn. just little small advantages like kind of crept up and up. And I was actually reviewing those particular games from yesterday, and I think actually in the second game, a big turning point was that Reaver didn't creep his expansion as cleanly. So he lost some HP on his footman. So when the two humans engaged, both were level 2.9, but Hailua hit 3 much quicker. And that was like that small advantage snowballed into the result of the second game. So just a slight execution misses from one team versus the other, and that makes all the difference in a mirror matchup.
All right, today we don't really know what we'll get. We were speculating if Dise and RazerMoon are playing Night Elf, but Dise, since he played some FFA, is also pretty good with human. Did they announce their races yet, Remo?
Let's ask him.
Yeah, let's ask him. As an admin should. But yeah, could be human Night Elf, and that was pretty successful yesterday already.
Yeah, human Night Elf. It's one of the more versatile combinations of races. I would say human and Night Elf are probably the two most versatile races in 2-on-2. They can really flex into a lot of different strategies. Both races are the two races that can most easily expand. So either race can take the expansion role, and sometimes you see players deciding to kind of mix it up based on where they spawn. For example, on Lost Temple, generally whoever spawns in the quote unquote safer location is the one that expos. Both teams can also play one-on-one as well, or they can play one base as well, and they can go range, they can go melee. There's just a lot of options for both players. But on the other hand, we have today, I'm actually very excited because I believe we're going to have two human and orc teams in the broadcast today, with both FaiLo and Aspire teaming up, and also Chiller. And you guys are going to have to help me here.
Elecnum, I think, is how you pronounce it, but I'm also not too sure if that is the correct pronunciation. French, not my strong suit. Why are you excited about human orc?
I'm excited about Human Work because that's the team that I personally play on 2-on-2s, and that's also a very versatile combination. You have the ability to expand from the human, you have the harass potential and the pressure potential from the orc, and I just think it's a good time. So I'm excited to kind of give my experience during those casts as well.
That's what you're here for, 100%. In the second game, we have a little bit of an outmatch and a clear favorite, while all the other matches are somewhat 50-50. Starbuck and Krav, we don't know what they will be playing, because Starbuck is, of course, one of the greatest random player on this planet, and maybe they will play random, so it's very, very hard to prepare for them. They are super duper strong, and they face the lower seeded team with Chilla and Elecnum. But they grinded a lot of games, these two, even though their names might not be the most star-studded in Warcraft 3, but they're coming prepared, I'm sure.
Yeah, one thing that struck me even just yesterday is Starbuck was in the chat watching the 2-on-2 games from yesterday, and he was just commentating on like he was just dropping knowledge bombs, for instance. Like for example, oh, they're not like trading resources in this particular position. That's like really what what makes the difference in the mirror. And just overall, every time I watch Starbuck play, I feel like not only does he have the execution of one of the best 1v1 players in the world, but he also just has like the deepest knowledge of 2-on-2 that I've like ever seen. So I think that's gonna be like that's what like the secret sauce behind like the Starbuck and Krav combo. Not to give Krav, of course, is an amazing player in his own right. I just haven't seen him vocalize his knowledge as Starbuck. But given that he's played with Starbuck so much, I don't doubt that he has a similar and equal amount of knowledge in 2-on-2. So Chiller and Elegnum, this is going to take a while to figure out, is going to have a hard challenge on their hands when it comes up to that match.
but maybe some cheesy strats that might surprise even Starbuck and Kraft. And then we get a full-out series, and then everything can happen. We take a little look at the bracket once again, as we're getting close to the finish of the veto process. We got a lot of time here today, everybody. We got Pato and Scars going over Caspand and Sheik. That team also eliminated. Smurf and Hailua kicked out Dark and Reva. Today, FaiLo and Inspired, the third Phantom Aces team, versus Dise and RazerMoon, Starbuck and Kraft versus Chilla and Elagnem. Do you remember FaiLo from the StarCraft 2 times? Because he's relatively new into competitive Warcraft.
I do not at all. The only Danish player I'm aware of is a player by the name of Sierra, who I believe was also a Warcraft 3 player.
Yes.
But no, FaiLo doesn't ring a bell to me these days.
All right, yeah, he switched from StarCraft to Warcraft, and he is grinding games. Very entertaining stream as well. Recommend to check that out. And Inspired, one of the youngest players we have in the entire scene, I'd say. Is he 18 already? Oh yeah, he about 18 years old. Has also been playing for 5 to 4 years. This guy is someone to watch out for in one of the upcoming RTSs, maybe.
Oh yeah. What upcoming RTSs are you referring to, Neo? I hear Age of Empires 4 is getting a new expansion soon.
Yeah, there's also a game that kind of looks like Command & Conquer, and there is another game, I struggled to find the name, but it has 0 in it. 0 Hour? 0 something?
Zero Space.
0 Space, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But apart from these games, I can't think of one.
Yeah, I can't think of one either. Of course, I cast Warcraft 3 full time as my job, so I couldn't imagine possibly doing something else maybe in my spare time, such as working on a spiritual successor to Blizzard RTSs, such as Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. Maybe it's by the name of Stormgate, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot about this game a little later.
That would be a great name for a game. Too bad you don't have time with your busy schedule casting Warcraft games. But Remo, the master of ceremonies, you got the map picks and bans done. What are our maps for the third quarterfinal?
Oh, yes, sir. It took some doing, but finally we have them. 3 maps for our best of 3, potentially. Deja Vu first, King and Country second, and Rusty Creek, which would be the first appearance this tournament if we go to 3 maps.
All right. I hope you guys are ready. You know the bracket. Whoever wins this best of 3 goes into the semifinals of the 2-2. It's FaiLo and Inspired versus RazerMoon and Dise. And Remo and Monk. I wish you good luck. Have fun.
Yes, sir. I think we will have precisely this. First time I'm casting 2v2 in quite some time. And I think quite possibly the first time ever casting with Monk. I feel honored, Monk. I hope I can live up to your high standards.
Well, Remo, since you are the guest on this channel after all, I guess I will have to take the lead. And in the top left, RazerMoon. We have RazerMoon in the top left as the Night Elf player, and it looks like he has a tavern build with no altar in sight. Meanwhile, we have Dise in the bottom left. Dise, he's opening up with an altar build. I expect a Demon Hunter coming from this, and Demon Hunter it is. On the bottom right, let's say, we have FaiLo with a Blade Master opening. And on the top right, we have Inspired with an Archmage opening. All right, so already a lot of interesting things are happening. In this matchup, both the human and the orc players can really flex into different strategies. Human can go with either expansion and then follow that up with tier 2, or they can go on one base. And what is most common against Night Elf is a Rifleman opening. Meanwhile, the orc can either go a Blade Master Grunt opening, which is pretty common, and also a Farseer Headhunter opening. So a lot of different options. Meanwhile, the Night Elf players, Demon Hunter is very powerful in this patch, especially on this map where we have really great immolation creeping spots, as we see here. Meanwhile, we have a Tavern Hero from RazerMoon. I wonder who he's going to pick. Panda may be a popular choice. What do you think, Remo?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen Panda first in a long time in the 2v2 specifically for Elf. Makes sense, I guess, to not go double Demon Hunter. That would seem to serve, you know, too much of the same purpose of mana burn later on. It is the Panda, as you predicted. Seems to be always the best carry hero from the Tavern. Really strong on high levels if he gets there. And, you know, AoE heroes have certainly quite a bit of potential in 2v2.
All right, we already have a lot of action going on. This is a strategy I love to do. As the Night Elf and Human player, or the Orc and Human player, we rush the Night Elf because Night Elf is really weak early game, and especially at this particular timing, the Night Elf players are usually trying to creep. This is actually very dangerous, and I'm not sure if RazerMoon, his ally, is taking this as seriously. Typically, as as your ally, you really have to defend. You have to take this push very seriously, and you have to defend very quickly. Behind this, both the Human and Orc are teching very quickly while they're doing an immense amount of damage. The Panda is level 2, but level 2 is not a huge power spike for the Panda. And there's just so much damage being done on Dise.
It seems like FaiLo and Inspired are playing a really strong push here, somewhat unconventional, especially when you consider 1v1s. Level 1 AM aggression is something you would never see in 1v1. With the strength of Militia and Water Elementals, the Archmage is exceptionally strong at early game creeping. But guess what? Both Night Elf heroes here are late game heroes. Demon Hunter, strong late game. Panda, strong late game. In the early game, as you correctly said, there is very little in terms of fighting prowess available to the elves with only weak heroes, with only archers. And Dise is having an annoying early game and an annoying start. It seems like his ally needs to help him out.
Yeah, I've actually never seen this reaction from the ally of the Night Elf player that is getting attacked, just to kind of ignore it and let all the Moonwells and Wisps die. Like, not as many Wisps died as I would have thought, and that's partially because Dise made a correct decision to kind of evacuate all his Wisps to another location. Oftentimes that's your ally's base, but for Dise, it's like actually below his base. He's going to be very behind in terms of Moonwells, in terms of wood. But let's see how this plays out. We have the Human and Orc coming back again. They've healed up at a nearby Voodoo Lodge, and I think we're really going to need to see the Panda come in.
And here he does come. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire available. Wait, is it Drunken Haze? No, it's the crit actually, the Drunken Brawler. Level 2 Breath though, and a fast level 3 with a staff. He's showing up, and he's really strong right now. He's got lots of breaths to use, and you know, on the red team side, these heroes are also only level 1. I think the Panda should be able to clean this one up, but the Demon needs to be careful in the meantime. Get the big heal potion though, nicely committing that one. Big mana still available, and this is looking like a confident, impressive hold. Like you pointed out earlier, Dice's main was sacrificed for a while. They were trying to bank on the Panda, just creeping up as fast as you can, and this now all seems to be coming nicely together.
Yeah, it seems like the double Night Elf team has defended this somewhat cleanly at this point. Oh, we have heal from FaiLo at level 1, saving that one grunt. Great decision to pick that instead of Hex. But this isn't over yet, because the strength of this particular push against Night Elf is it's actually more of a 1-2 punch. You pressure the Night Elf in the very beginning of the game, and then you generally follow up with a very strong tier 2 push with Riflemen, Grunts, oftentimes Spirit Walkers as well. That's because Night Elf, or Human and Orc, are the two most powerful races at tier 2, and the tier 2 timing can be incredibly strong with a combination of the Shadow Hunter and the Blood Mage just siphoning mana onto the Shadow Hunter, draining mana from the Panda, draining mana from the Demon Hunter. Just an amazing combination, and I suspect we're going to see such a push coming up in this particular game pretty soon.
Yeah, in my limited 2v2 knowledge, I also always felt like the Human or combo, if they have a good early game and they hit the right timings later on, they seem to be so tough to beat, especially in the tier 2 stage before we get to the, you know, crazy late game with super high level heroes. And this Blood Mage should be extremely effective against both Night Elf heroes. And I say both because we only have 2 so far, right? No, never mind, there's a Naga. Okay, so we have a second hero on Dise, but RazerMoon might just be sticking with the Panda solo.
Yeah, what a great timing right here. We see a Militia pulled, and it's going to be exactly that push is coming up. With the initial pressure onto Dise, his lures are delayed, so he's going to have a really hard time defending this.
Panda joining, staffing in. He is strong, but there's not much else. Where's the army? Where are the units? They're joining now from the north by RazerMoon. Didn't have a TP, so it's taken a while. TP used on the Demon Hunter instead. Trying to get to the Moonwells, heal up there. And there was a bit of juice in, but that's it. This was all. And towers might soon be coming.
Yeah, very key is that the Panda picked up a greater mana pot. He's going to be able to use that very effectively. However, the Blood Mage is constantly draining mana from him. We see the Ancient Protector going up in anticipation of the push, and that's going to be very useful. Blood Mage is getting focused right now, and we have a ton of range units from the top left dealing a ton of damage. Naga almost, she falls, but Ankh was passed at the very last minute, and it's going to be a very close battle.
I'm pretty impressed here with Dise in the defense, honestly. Like you said, this 1-2 punch strategy. Holding on right now after holding on earlier, but perhaps now it's a bit too much. Demon Hunter dropping low again, but he always just has barely enough to survive, right? He has the TP, he has the Arc, he has the Moonwells, he has the potions, and this might be enough to break through here and push this force back. The Panda out of mana, but he used some spells before. The Blade Master very hurt himself. May need to use the TP, the Breath. Where'd that one come from? I guess a mana potion was there, that is the kill. And it seems like our Night Elf team, the double Night Elf team, is holding successfully here. Another kill on the AM, and this game seems to be over. This TP will be used, he gets out. But the Shadow Hunter has no scroll to read.
Yeah, Shadow Hunter is falling. That leaves us with a total of 0 Orc heroes, and it's not looking good for the Human and Orc team, as this Grunt falls, leaving the Orc at 32 supply. The Human, he probably has to help his ally very soon, but he's going to try to creep an expansion, maybe come back to the game with an economic advantage.
Yeah, looking at these Night Elf heroes, and they look quite formidable. Panda about to hit level 5. That Breath of Fire is going to be doing immense damage. The DPS output of the Panda, especially when you consider like how much mana can be translated into damage. The Panda is a front runner if he gets those levels, which now he will. Still playing Panda solo, by the way. Being tier 3 as well is RazerMoon, so he's getting bonus experience on the Panda. Honestly, level 5 might not be his final destination. You might see even an ult later.
Yeah. The Panda at level 5 is going to be insane against this particular Human and Orc combination. We don't have tier 3 in sight for either of those two players, and Panda just counters everything in the Human and Orc army at this point. In order to counter this, the Human Orc team needs to be at a huge economic advantage, and they probably need like at least 3 or 4 scrolls.
Yeah, absolutely correct. One scroll has been purchased here now by FaiLo, and also found a Sobi Mask, so this Blood Mage is going to have tons of mana. Maybe with a good fight with a bit of Siphon coming into play. The Siphon here could be the X factor. Blood Mage also, like the Panda, a hero can really thrive if he gets the levels later. He's killed Flame Strike now. I don't think we saw one used yet, but imagine this Blood Mage perhaps getting level 4. This could also turn into quite the weapon. But first, FaiLo and Inspired have to survive the next push, because the Night Elves, for the first time, feeling really confident, moving across the map, looking for a fight.
Yeah, I would be immensely confident if I had a level 5 Panda in my army as well. And we're going to see perhaps a fight coming up, perhaps a climactic fight, because the Night Elf, the dual Night Elf army is looking incredibly strong, simply off the back of this Panda alone.
Okay, we have only level 2 heroes on the red team, and that is being faced by level 5 Panda. We say it again and again because it is so important. He's getting Siphon now, getting some control somewhat. May have only one Breath of Fire left, but that was going to do good damage. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at everything dropping into the red. The Night Elf army are also very potent. Roar on basically everything. Bears in front, Drives for the Dispel. Just a well-rounded army. We're kind of touching it at the beginning of the broadcast. Double Night Elf can work, and seems like here it is working. Finally, the Panda is dry, has no more mana. Can they hold? The Priest heal, the Sorcerer slow is working out pretty well. The AM is level 3. Blade Master this time does make it out, hitting level 3 as well. And the red team is holding on, not getting entirely crushed this fight. Oh, but the Demon is coming back in, didn't consider that. With the staff, he's fight ready once more.
Yeah, Demon Hunter coming in, it was really a tie turner. With the Panda at 0 mana, I think the Human might have been able to put up a good fight against the remaining Night Elf forces, but that Demon Hunter at level 4 is just worth so much in this fight right now.
It's time to heal quickly at the Orc shop. Who gets the heal cells? Who gets the clarities? Who is the beneficiary. Blood Mage close to 3. I wonder what he's going to skill. Did we even see a Flame Strike this fight? I think we may not have. Might have just been focusing on Siphon only. And Dise is trying to push the advantage. Into the human base we go. And the expansion so far has been untouched and maybe even unscouted.
Yeah, I think in this particular situation, I would totally go for Siphon Mana level 2. There's not too many Flame Strike targets in the sense that like a large portion of the Night Elf army is Dryads. Plus, you really need to deny the Panda. The Panda is just the entire key in this fight. The units almost don't matter relative to the Panda.
Dise TP's home. He's fighting 1v2. Shouldn't be RazerMoon be joining here. He's got a TP. He's trying to counterattack the human base. But Dise is feeling the pain at the moment for the next Flame Strike on the AP. Could be so huge. There's mana for it. I'm waiting for the next cast. Maybe it's on cooldown. Dise struggling here. Where's RazerMoon? He needs to help out.
Yeah, RazerMoon, however, has hit level 6, and he's TPing in. Storm, Earth, and Fire is triggered right away, and that's going to be a huge turning point in this battle. Siphoning the Blood Mage right away, so we see no more pesky mana drain, and everything is just falling for FaiLo and Inspired.
Yeah, the Shadowhunter low level here doesn't seem to be contributing much anymore. He's getting siphoned over. There's one more heal wave, but it's only level 1 heal wave. And the Elves here holding again for the 3rd time down in Dice's space. They will hold and survive and claim victory here. Under lots of pressure were the double Sentinel players, but they do prevail. I'm quite impressed with Dice's holds here and how he was able to just barely hang on with his hero. How close was the Demoner to dying so many times, but just enough was doable to keep that one alive. The Panda, of course, was the big damage dealer and the fancy part of the show, the showstopper, so to speak. But I think it was really Dise here holding down the fort, which gave them that chance.
Man, what a game, guys. This was incredibly close. Very good aggression early on. Dise with absurd saves. Also, like buying mana potions on one hero and passing it to the other, so the Breath of Fire was working fine. Really well done. And FaiLo and Inspired a little bit, like too many losses here and there. At one point, Inspired had no TP and lost like 3 riflemen, which of course could have helped in the push or defense. Very, very nice game. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, that game was actually maybe even closer than it looked like. I've never seen such a strong defense and basically the ability to not die if your ally doesn't help you with that very particular push. And I'm curious just to look back into the replay and see exactly what Dise did and why, for example, there weren't more whiffs kills, which is really what really screws over the Night Elf player in that situation. Another aspect is I think the greater mana pot that the Panda found made a huge difference in that game. That tier 2 timing push, it looked very, very, very close. And those pushes always look very close. And I've got to say, I got to feel that that one particular potion made so much difference with an extra 2 breaths of fire.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, especially when you're getting pressured like that and you know, feel the trouble mounting. If you can rely on a big heal and a big mana potion, that's probably the 2 perfect items they could have found. Imagine if instead he has to Scroll the Beast. Early game, not very good, not very helpful.
Well, there's a second chance for FaiLo and Inspired. They're taking a little break to discuss strategies and adjust a little bit. They're not without chances, and we are not without support. Thank you guys very much. Colorado, 29-month. Ralph is with a tier 2 sub for 5 years straight. 5 years? Let's go for 5 more. Less than 3v2W. Riva cheering for his Aces comrades. Hyped for today. Let's go, Aces. I need to cheer a little more, buddy. That didn't help just yet. El Turicano, 44-month, Karubik with 25 euros, and Fuchs with Doppel X, the 8-month resub. Now, we are in map number 2. It is match points for Dise and RazerMoon, and the second Phantom Aces team could just be eliminated right there after Reaver and Dark fell yesterday. New map, new chance. Good luck, boys.
All right, Remo, why don't you introduce the players?
It would be my honor. We are on King and Country here for map 2. In the north, spawning, we have in the top left, it is... Oh my god, I'm so confused by these colors. Hold on. It is FaiLo in the purple. Need to turn off the ally colors for a second. And his ally in the top right, the young gun of the bunch, Inspired as the human player. Bottom right, we have our first Night Elf in the team. That is RazerMoon earlier with a very impressive Panda. Might be doing so again. And bottom left, the unsung hero a bit, but keeping his team there alive and keeping the chances with that very much so the same. It is Dise in the red.
And I think we're from the Night Elf team, we're going to see a repeat with the Demon Hunter plus a Tavern Hero combination. Most likely the Panda yet again. One interesting thing to note is that RazerMoon has positioned his Ancient of War in a rather safe position. Typically, you can either creep Ancient of War, creep this creep camp, or creep the Goblin Lab at the top. But maybe because he's scared of a very early push from his opponents, like we saw last game, he's trying to go for the more conservative route. Meanwhile, from the Night Elf and Human team, we have a Farseer from FaiLo, even though we don't see a War Mill. So it's looking to be either Farseer Grunts or the Farseer plus one Grunt opening into Headhunters. And I was actually going to say that rushes are probably going to be less likely on this map because it's such a huge map, but it looks like both the Archmage and the Farseer are running across the map yet again. And so we're going to see a kind of the same push, I believe.
Yeah, level 1 AM harass still, I find quite humorous, as normally you never see that. Yeah, looking similar indeed. AM now gonna come over, harass Dice's base again. Dice is again gonna be the annoyed party here. And hero change, of course. We saw a Blade Master earlier, now it's a Farseer. And that's worth considering, right? Why did he change heroes here? Now he's getting mana burned. And might be regretting that hero already. If you get burned a few times, have no more mana for wolves, this Farseer, I think, does a lot less than a Blade. But as long as he has mana, as long as there is wolves, he can certainly do.
Yeah, it's the Archmage has come over yet again. I want to note that in the midst of this action, the Archmage actually went to try to harass the Panda and his creatures, but because RazerMoon made the correct decision to, we have a Skelly surround. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's
and
just...
what a sick item also to hold a push early game. Book of the Dead here, absolutely wonderful. Our Night Elf team pretty blessed with items, gotta say. 2 maps in a row. TP'd home though, or TP'd to his ally again, as he did before. Dice healing up from the Moonwells, now coming back over. How much damage are they going to be taking? Losing a Moonwell as they did before. Might be losing another one.
Yeah, I would actually like to see the human orc team go for more wisps, just to hunt down these wisps, because these Moonwells are really tanky, and I think you can do a lot more damage if you just send like 1 or 2 grunts in order to harass the wisps.
Demon Hunter's back. That should be then Dice being able to defend his base. And this is always where you feel a bit lost as the orc. You get burned a few times, now the Farseer is drying. What's he doing? Throwing out a couple of lightning balls, but they're only doing about 20 damage apiece. Not that much. But the grunts are actually quite formidable. The Demon Hunter doesn't have a TP anymore. He needs to be careful with where he goes. Speed Scroll popped. Opportunity for a kill of a level 2 hero that would level him up as well. Does he have enough? A few more right clicks should do it. And the demon does fall. Dice overextending a bit overconfident with this Book of the Dead that he had at hand.
Yeah, the Book of the Dead is actually mostly consumed already. We just have the archers, but Dise is microing them as best as he can. They're about to expire anyway, so right now it's kind of like, oh, free experience I was going to say, but a deny with the archers. What skill?
They're going for the altar. Demon Hunter being threatened. But again, like we saw on map 1, Panda creeps just a bunch up, gets level 3, and then comes to defend. But at the moment, there's no Demon Hunter. His blindfolded friend is at the moment inactive.
Yeah, but a big difference here is the very high number of grunts from the orc player. And Breath of Fire, as good as it may be, it's not the best when dealing with this number of grunts in the early game.
Starting to drop low. Oh, the Shredder would be a huge pickup. Trying to block it with a Footman. Shredder must survive. That one costs almost 400 gold. Getting chased still by the fast heroes. More grunts are falling. That was the last Breath of Fire. And grunts are starting to get cleaned up. but the Shredder's going down. That's more experience, by the way. If he gets the last hit, FaiLo close to 3. Imagine if he gets 3 and has the level 2 Wolves available.
Yeah, level 2 Wolves would be pretty insane here. We have the heroes from Dise and RazerMoon doing as best as he can, turning on and off immolation because it costs 0 to activate now. And maybe the pressure is, I think the pressure is over for now. Both the human and orc players are backing off to lick their wounds a bit. And we see an interesting deviation from the orc. We have double bestiary, which leads to believe maybe it's going to be more of a hit and run strategy rather than an outright pushing strategy.
And if we see Serpent Wards again, as we saw earlier, there might be an opportunity here. By the way, we see the teal team looking for perhaps a hero kill. If there was an Ensnare here, that could have been a possibility. But no Raiders yet, no Ensnare just yet. Dise, though, doesn't want to back up, wants to figure out what's going on, poke a bit. Has 0 items, by the way. Demon Hunter and Naga, literally nothing in their inventory.
Yeah, and the ball is on RazerMoon. He's taking expansion when he knows that it's going to be very likely that a push is coming up. In addition, we see a little bit of indecision from Inspired. Earlier on, he militia'd 5 of his militia across the map diagonally to Dise's base, but then he decided to, against it, sent them back home, which leads me to believe that, oh, he might have been thinking about pushing, but decided it's probably not the correct call as of now.
At long last, we have the level 2 for the AM, which is a huge level up, of course. The mana aura now gonna be a big boon for heroes and priests and sorceresses alike. When's that push hitting? When can we expect it? And are the Night Elves gonna get ready for it? Again, a defensive setup by Dise. He seems to know what's coming. AP in the works, soon to be done, and the lures as well. And the Panda still doing his best to level up as fast as he can. But it's still quite a journey to level 5.
Yeah, I love this AP decision from Dise. He did it in the last game as well. And it's so great because you pretty much know that you're going to get pushed here, but just based on experience of how this typical strat plays out from human and orc. And now we have the militia coming once again. We have the FaiLo at level 3. We have a Shadow Hunter with wards. It's looking like it's time for the push.
And I wonder if RazerMoon wasn't too greedy. Dude, he didn't just expand. He expanded and went tier 3 and crept a lot and got a Shredder. He invested so much into the late game. Question is, are they ready now for this push? AP holding for now, but hurt already. The teal team repositioning, trying to get a bit out of range of the AP. The Demon Hunter getting siphoned right away. Slow and siphon, always very strong combo.
Yeah, we have not only the siphon for the Blood Mage, but on the Shadow Hunter we have a mana staff. So it's all going to be about mana management in this particular game. The Blood Mage is constantly giving the Shadow Hunter more mana and for those heals, and more importantly, taking mana away from the Panda. The Demon Hunter is surrounded. What do we have? We have a TP bot, but the TP doesn't get used. Oh my God, Dise was a little slow to use the TP, which means the Demon Hunter has fallen.
Yeah, on map 1, we had so many miraculous saves. The Demon Hunter never died. It was so close to the edge, but always it was a beautiful save then in the end. Not so much the case this time. The Demon Hunter dies for the 2nd time, and Dice's main is in deep, deep trouble. Panda carry again has to come to the rescue, but it seems like for that we need not level 4, but even level 5.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe because the Demon Hunters died, that's just more experience for the Panda. But we still have an onslaught of human and orc forces. The Riflemen are surviving, and they're just constantly doing a ton of damage. The mana drain slow combination is doing so much work right now, creating mana from the Panda.
Yeah, with the Naga and the Archer too, Dise actually doing a really good job. He's poking from the side, always finding a few targets, has the Wisps there as well. Some of them to deal with the Wolf threat. But still so much stuff here. I love the shop, by the way, the Arcane Vault, the Regent Scroll here, as we've seen so many times before. Wonderful value. Gets cancelled by a Breath of Fire, that was nice. But you can just buy a new one. Not that expensive, really. And the first lore is gone. And if the AP falls, this base most likely will be broken.
Yeah, I'm also just so impressed that RazerMoon's use of the cloak. He's he's dodged so many mana drains just with the cloak. He's probably saved up to 50 or 60 mana, which is almost as much as for a Breath of Fire.
The Naga for Dise in trouble now. Might be the third hero loss for Dise this game. Here comes the Hex. A few more right clicks. The Chain Lightning would do it. In this case, not even needed. Another hero kill for the teal team. The Panda is TPing back with the staff. He brought in the bears, and he's got 4 of them. The Demon also comes out, but we have an Arcane Tower here as well. Super effective against both Demon and Panda. The Demon is dry already. Can the bears dislodge this siege?
Yeah, I think Inspired is controlling his sources really well. He's been manually casting slow, fighting off against these bears, and these bears are kind of falling just from the sheer number of riflemen here. The Panda has hit level 5, what a key level, but he doesn't have that much mana. Breath of Fire does a ton to the Orc units, but still, the backline of the human is insane right now. No rifleman has fallen, I believe, during this entire game. And we have the Blood Mage still sustaining the entire army with mana drains. And the Shadow Hunter sustaining the army with Healing Wave. Just nothing is falling right now. And we have a manual cast. Ooh, great banish from the Blood Mage in order to save that very key sorceress.
And a key part of the building here, for the base falls, it's the AP. And I think it might only be a matter of time before Dise has to say goodbye to his main base. But maybe they can survive even with his main falling. There's 2 base income still. RazerMoon has the expansion established. Enough time was bought easily for the tier 3 tech, which he has. Another lore is coming. RazerMoon is getting ready for triple lore. And the double Night Elf team might be able to sacrifice one of their bases.
Yeah, not only that, but the Panda would be great in terms of hit and runs. So we could see that as an option for the double Night Elf team in order to get back into the game. But yeah, there's just still more Orc units, more human units. We see Inspired at 52 supply. We have FaiLo at 44 supply, and even Demolishers to help in this battle.
Well, the Panda, by the way, didn't have a staff, so he couldn't really get out. So a nice Zeppelin purchase there to get him out of trouble. And the 2 heroes, of course, even if Dise loses his main and loses his army, he certainly wants to hold on to the heroes. TP away. He is a refugee now, in exile, so to speak. He's trying to heal up in his allies' base. His home has been ravaged, but he's going to try to make a new home with the help of his friend.
Yeah, I love this decision by Inspired. We see in his main base right now, a lot of towers are going up. I think the Inspired knows that the double Night Elf team is going to look to do some hit and runs in order to try to prevent a straight up fight from happening as much as possible. So he's putting up those towers in preparation for that. I would also like to see him blocking off his base so an angry Panda can't get through.
Yeah, the War Mill kind of, the Lumber Mill, I mean, kind of helps with that, but it's not exactly a wall off. They can still reach the towers and reach them just in time. Striking now at the expansion. The teal team, the teal army, looks very big indeed, which gives more opportunity to the Panda also. And we have some mountain giants coming into the mix. Will they be able to be dealt with? We'll see. Double TP home. Do not want to give up the human base. Oh, into the middle of everything indeed. 2 bears getting caught. But there's not much of a front line, it seems like, here for the teal team. The wolves have been resummoned, but quickly getting dispelled. A lot of archers also going down, though. Oh, and the Farseer in trouble. Off to the side. Not being moved there by FaiLo for quite some time. That's a huge hero kill.
Yeah, fortunately, it's not the most important hero in this army, but still, we have a more hero focus from the double Night Elf team. The Blood Mage is going to be very important, but with Banish, it's going to be really hard to kill anything at this point.
Oh, huge Breath of Fire. But there's not going to be too many more of that. We have one more heal potion. The priest trying to heal up in the back. The heal scroll here for the teal team would be insane. Breath of Fire, huge damage again. How many follow-up kills can they get? Mana pot though, and the heal wave. This Shadow Hunter heal wave really delivering in spades in this late game. And they hold.
Oh, Naga is getting focus fired. She has an Ankh, so that's not too big of a problem. The Zep could have been focused, but I think it might be able to get away. We have the Naga being resurrected. Oh, the Zeppelin does get focused, and the Zeppelin is not going to be a valid escape for the Naga. Still, this Panda is wreaking havoc just with his auto attack, and he needs just one more kill for level 6. Is he going to be able to get that kill? It looks like one slap from the Mountain Giant and level 6, here it is, but no mana. Naga goes down. Demon Hunter is in a lot of trouble. The TP is passed, but now the Panda needs to be able to run away. A Hex on the Panda. Oh man, this could be super key. Oh no, Panda gets ensnared and semi-surrounded? I don't see a way for him to escape right now, though.
Trying to deny himself with the creeps, I guess, but with more Hex and with more snares, he's definitely dead. And they get the experience, level 4 for the Shadow. Great Hex there earlier, by the way, also. He hexed the Demon Hunter, so the Naga couldn't be stabbed, so the Naga is dead forever. No way to get her back. And they're pushing forward. Even a Mountain Giant here could be killed with an ensnare, a couple of right clicks. A 1-1 tie-up of the series seems very likely now.
Yeah. Panda gets Tavern revived, but it needs to just run away here. Without any mana, it can't do anything. But once it gets mana back, we are possibly able to see how a Panda does against 250 supply armies.
Needs to get back to the Moonwells, replenish his mana pool. Throw out 2 Breaths of Fire, use the ultimate. The Panda still has huge potential here. But the Blood Mage will have his sights set on the Panda and steal all that blue juice if he can. Siphon again on the Demon. It's been a painful game for this Demon Hunter and for Dise. This time around, the hold wasn't perfect. And the Panda is caught, and the Panda might be dead. Can he be staffed, waiting for the Ensnare to end? But another Ensnare is there, the lock is finished, and the game is over. GG. And we tie it up.
Damn, FaiLo and Inspired indeed. 1-1. Dise RazerMoon, of course, the more known and the better one-on-one players with the lead, with match points. But FaiLo and Inspired combine the forces of human and orc, and of course great teamwork and friendship, and bring it to a game 3.
Yeah, just quite a few adjustments made by FaiLo and Inspired in that game. The Farseer, I believe, was able to put a bit more pressure than a Blade Master would have in the very early game, simply because you have 3 bodies. The Proxy Shop did a lot of work, and just I think that the constant Demon Hunter losses were what caused the game to turn around so quickly. I think the decision to expand from RazerMoon was definitely a ballsy one, especially when you saw that your opponents did a timing push in the last game. Maybe a second of Ancient Protector might have been smart in that particular situation. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how RazerMoon and Dise adapt in game 3. Are Inspired and FaiLo going to do the same type of 1-2 punch kind of push? Are RazerMoon and Dise going to expect it, or is there going to be some variation? Is someone going to mix it up?
All right, we are getting the map ready. Remo has opened up things again. We have a couple of supporters, so obviously we have to shout them out. Bracky with a €20 donation towards the prize pool. Fishy buying a Shadowhunter profile picture. Changer buying a Archmage profile picture. Disproved by Hell with a €10 donation and a less than 3 for us. And Jay Stellarex also buying an Archmage, boosting the prize pool to $1,557. But I want to see the big 2K in front. So chip in there. W3Cfinals.backtowwarcraft.com.
Starting off the day again in style. Seems like these 2 teams are evenly matched. It's been a tight 2 maps, a close back and forth. Now we're moving to map 3. Is it going to be the same strat again? They were semi-successful and also looking strong, but certainly predictable. Certainly predictable with FaiLo and Inspired. Is it time to switch it up now, or is it going to be another push strat? We'll see.
All right, we have Inspired as the human player spawning in the bottom left. His ally FaiLo is going to spawn directly next to him. I'm curious to see whether there's going to be a Blade Master or a Farseer. And on the top right side, we have Dise slightly on the right, going for an altar first opening. And RazerMoon is going for a tavern opening yet again. So I think we're going to likely to see a similar strat from the double Night Elf team. So on this particular map, Rusty Creep, you can't really expand on this map very easily because the creeps in the middle, which is the only viable early expansion in the game, are rather difficult. So I think we're going to see a callback of a similar push. One difference in this particular game is that the two Night Elf players are spawning very close to each other. In the past, RazerMoon has decided to abandon and not really help his ally in the early game. But because he's opting for this Ancient of War camp, or this Merc camp early on, it's going to lead him to be directly next to his ally when the very first push comes with the Farseer, or sorry, Blade Master this time, the Blade Master and Archmage. So I'm curious as to whether the Panda will decide to help defend the push this time, or whether he's going to focus on creeping.
Is there any special cool mercs you can go for on this map? Any that are good?
We have, well, we have the standard Shadow Priest. So the Cobalt Taskmaster is probably the standout one to me. It gives you a command aura that does not stack with the Kodo aura. So just as a default, you kind of just buy that in your army. The other ones are pretty standard. You have a Geomancer, which is cast slow and abolish, but it doesn't, you can't get it very early. So probably.
Oh, yeah, I saw some games with the Geomancer before, I think, but that one probably only becomes available at second daytime, 7 minutes 20. Yeah, it is the Panda again. This is pretty much the same strat for the third time in a row. But yes, Blade Master now, not a Farseer, which surprises me on this map, right? Because in this map, the Demon Hunter can't really be level 2 by the time you show up to harass. So without level 2, most likely no mana burn. So maybe here a Farseer could have been a bit stronger, but well, it's the choice.
Yeah, we have already a mix-up from Dise. He anticipates this push coming to him, so he actually tried to build 4 Moonwells early game, which is going to make his defense going to be a lot stronger. That pays off in spades. We have 1 Moonwell falling, but it takes a lot of damage, and then we have 3 Moonwells instead of 2 standard Moonwells right here, in order to help defend this push.
Panda keeps creeping. He's gonna get level 2 here. Circlet for him is quite nice, and he's very close to his ally's base. He could swoop over there right now, even before level 3. He's got a crit now, and indeed, he will be helping out. On this map, with the players so close to each other, kind of Turtle Rock-esque, the Panda now is gonna be a bit more helpful early game.
Yeah, Panda's here to defend, and just this Panda, and almost more importantly, these archers and Shadow Priests are going to be way more than enough to defend. So this push is stopped in its tracks, at least for the very immediate future. And I think that's probably the best defense yet from the double Night Elf team. That's at the cost of some Panda creeping time, but I have confidence that the Panda will hit 3 in a reasonable amount of time soon.
And I must say, I don't like this Blade Master choice. I think a Farseer here would have done way better, but maybe the concern was, hey, what if the Ancient of War creep the Merc camp with a Demon Hunter? And then he's level 2, and then he's got Burn again, and then the Farseer again is going to be limited. That wasn't the case, but maybe that was thinking. Now they're creeping together, trying to reach level 2, but this camp won't be enough for our red team. Item is the big invuln, that's okay, but I'm liking the position for the Night Elves here.
Oh man, we have a level 2 on this Demon Hunter and a teleportation staff into the human base. No Arcane Tower. This is going to do an insane amount of damage. Even if he doesn't get any kills, the amount of mining loss is going to be immense. We have the Demon Hunter in a corner. His surface area, only 5 militia are able to attack him, and he's just burning down the peasants one by one.
It's going to cost him a TP in the end, but so well worth it. Oh my god, another one. Ooh, that is crippling damage, dude. That hurts so much.
Meanwhile, we have this battle over here. The Archmage is very low. He tried to surround the Panda. He got the surround, but he was forced to let it go because the Archmage was taking too much damage. Oh, we have another surround on the Panda with defend even, and RazerMoon is going to be forced to TP.
Oh my god. Gets the level 3 there thanks to 2 more kills. He's got the boots as well. He's going to be quickly able to rejoin this battle if he wishes. And Inspired is trying to lick his wounds, dude. He's got only 8 peasants left, and he has to build his tier 2 base. The blacksmith is hugely delayed. Yeah, Inspired has been kneecapped here. He is going to be a non-factor for a long time.
Yeah, Inspired, he was actually going for a slightly different strat this game, going for Defend Footman instead of Rifleman. I believe he was trying to transition to Rifleman, but with around a 5 Defend Footman opening. Not sure how much I like that choice since there's Immolation, there's Breath of Fire, and your opponents can always focus fire the grunts when they're armed. But that being said, we have the Arcane Sanctum coming up, and we have a tech transition into Rifleman. So I believe we're going to see a very similar type of push, but this is going to be, I think the human orc players are in the worst position they've ever been out of the 3 games.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So much so that I feel like they have to change strats. I think a push is going to be their worst option. I think they're just going to be running to the waiting arms of a well-prepared Night Elf team. Now, there's no expansion either for the Elves that might be weakening them for a certain amount of time. You know, Tier 3 is finishing soon. Bears will be ready. The Demon is strong. The Panda is strong. On paper, a push should never work.
Yeah. Well, another alteration that Dise has made is that he's just massing archers right now. He's only going for 1 lore in order to just very, very slowly transition into tech. But he's just saying, hey, I'm gonna just defend this push. I'm gonna defend this push as hard as possible, and I'm just gonna win the game based off of my high level, or my allies' high level hero.
Creeping the big camp in the north. Oh, the demon's back! Immolation again. All the peasants unemployed for the time being. 30 supply, dude. Oh my god, what a sad game this is. The demon doesn't have a TP, by the way. He kind of... If they committed to it, could even kill him here. But with how much time he's buying, how much he's distracting and creating space, this would even be worth it. While the Panda reached level 4. But tell you what, dude. If they're going for the push right now, I guess the demon isn't going to be participating. But then again, the Naga is bringing the staff, so Dise also thought of this eventuality.
Yeah, we actually very intelligent for the Inspired and FaiLo to push the Panda this time, or rather the Panda player. They didn't do a lot of damage to the to Dise, and he's always been putting up the Ancient Protector. So we're gonna see this perhaps final push of the game, where this huge army of Night Elf or of human and orc forces goes up against the Night Elf with just an infinite number of Breath of Fires.
The Naga now staffing in. Dice's army is rather frail. Only archers here, they could fall quickly. But how much is going to die in the meantime? Oh, the Blood Mage in trouble already. There's going to be one more heal wave, but it's only level 1, of course. Shadowhunter so far away from level 3 here. Panda getting siphoned, but still has lots of mana, has great items. Demon Hunter surrounded. Oh, but that results in a lot of damage being turned around the other way. Invo Potion as well, and this push is easily held.
Yeah, no contest. Just the sheer number of archers, the high-level heroes. Archmage is getting focus fired. Invul Potion pulls up. Blood Mage falls. We have more grunts falling. No human units exist at this point. And it's looking to be the final curtains of this match. Oh! Is the Ancient War going to get a kill? No, so close.
A player's forces are under attack.
Keep staring at Inspired's base. He's got 4 peasants right now, only 2 of which are in the gold mine. 10 supply! Oh my lord, this is depressing. Which is a state of mind that the humans oftentimes find themselves in nowadays.
Yep, no Arcane Tower. Yeah, we have Dise. He's slowly adding Dryads to his army. But it's not really gonna matter too much since the human has literally 0 combat units on this field.
Level 3 now as well. The hero level difference is ridiculous. Another Breath of Fire, yet more peasants falling. Dice is trying his darndest. Trying to wall off a bit with the lumber mill. It does look beyond desperate though.
Yeah, Altar is falling, which means that the Blood Mage probably isn't coming back anytime soon. We have a Desperation Lumber Mill trying to block off the 3 remaining peasants. I'm not sure how valuable that's going to be. We have a FaiLo trying to kill Dise's main, but a quick TP from Dise with a bazillion archers is going to come back. And not even a TP. FaiLo is just going to give up, and that's GG. Very close series. Very close games overall.
Unfortunately, the third game, the most decisive one. I guess the thinking was, well, if they harass us early game in map 2 and map 1 specifically, let's just turn it around. Let's just pick the Demon Hunter, send him away into the economy. Classic Night Elf play on this patch. And if you expose your base like this with no tower, etc., and if you don't react quickly enough to the Wisp and the Staff, your entire economy is burning, and it was just a fall from grace. Kind of sad for FaiLo and Inspire. There was a lot of fun, but RazerMoon and Dise advancing into the semifinal.
Yeah, a little bit more one-dimensional play from Inspired and FaiLo than I would have liked. They did the same exact strat, or close to the same strat, each of the 3 games. And by the 3rd game, Dise and RazerMoon really over-prepared for that type of push. For example, building the 4 moon wells at the very start of the game in order to help defend. And overall, if Inspired and FaiLo had mixed it up a bit, I think they would have had more success because Dise and RazerMoon over-prepared. In addition, I don't think that was the best map to go for that strat, just because the other Night Elf player is right next to it spawns right next to his ally, and the fact that the Merc camp is a very common first creeping spot, so the Panda can reinforce his ally very easily. So if Inspired and FaiLo come back to season 16, I would like to see a bit more variation in their play, a bit of a mix-up to keep the Night Elf players guessing, and I think that could be very effective if we see them again.
So what you're saying is the play was a little uninspired and failed.
Oh, Neo.
All right, we're setting up the fourth quarterfinal that we have. The big favorites, Starbuck and Kraft, are stepping into the ring against the big underdogs in Chilla and Elachnum. But of course, Monk, we're not just here to watch the games and be entertained. We're also here to promote and celebrate the server that is W3Champions, a community initiative. And of course, you've been working on some big projects like StarCraft 2. You're working on a project called Stormgate at the moment. Is there any feature of W3Champions that you definitely want to implement into your game? Because it's that awesome.
Yeah, one feature that we would love to implement in our game is the existence of a ladder and matchmaking. Those seem like awesome features, wouldn't it, Neo, for an RTS?
It would. I mean, the first time we did an interview about Stormgate, you promised me that rank play will be available at launch. Is that still the plan?
We are literally working on it right now. Actually, I don't know how public this is, but we are working on it with certain members of the W3Champions team. So I think you can expect a very similar level of amazing quality in the ladder, in like seasons, and just overall of how all of that works. So I'm very excited to see how you match up, Neo, in Stormgate with its ladder.
Well, I would love to start bragging, but unfortunately I signed a contract where I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I can say that I did win one of the other Stormgate matches so far.
One Stormgate match.
Multiples.
Pretty impressive, Neo. Pretty impressive. Neo, you are the GNL champion. You are the arranged team, or you are the automated tournament champion. You are the current champion of the Back to Warcraft 2v2 series, and you've won at least one Stormgate match. What can't you do, Neo?
These guys in the tournaments, they can consider themselves lucky that I'm not participating. I don't know if you know that, but I also have a 100% win rate in Warcraft 3 free-for-all. So I could join that as well, but casting's just more of my thing. It's just more fun.
Yeah, you're just holding back your true power just to give the likes of poor Happy a chance in order to take some of the prize money home.
Exactly. I got all the love from the community and all the subs and donations. These players gotta eat as well. But yeah, W3Champions, as I said, is an amazing server. If you look at it, it's hard to believe that it's just community work. You praised the fact that there is a ranked ladder, and that is of course why we play there. They track your stats, unlike other Warcraft 3 platforms where your wins don't really count, or sometimes your win is the loss and your loss is the win. It's a little bit complicated. Here on W3Champions, a win is a win, a loss is a loss, and you get rewarded if you perform better than your opponent. You got multiple leagues, from the best players that we got here in the Grandmaster League down to the Grass League, so don't be afraid if you're starting to play Warcraft 3 or come back after like a decade of not playing. You don't have to join Battle.net. It's you are missing out on so much. Just go through the placement matches. They can be a little brutal, but you'll be forged by the fire that is placement matches. And then also for lower ranked players, this is the place to be. All you gotta do is to go to W3Champions.com, download a little add-on. It will be right in your Warcraft 3 main menu, or if you use the beta client, it will be a little standalone launcher. It's a UI that is very reminiscent of the old Battle.net that we all love and cherish. You can chat with a lot of people right there, track your stats, as they said. And if you're not really a one-on-one player, the server is also good for you. We got 2-2, as you can see here. We got 4-4. We got FFA, Legion TD, Reign of Chaos, Banjo Ball, Random Heroes, Dota, Survival Chaos, Line Tower Wars, and so much more. With more than 5,000 games per day and more than 10,000 people active on the server. If you want to zoom in or if you want to zoom out, you don't have to go through the options. You can just type in -zoom and then a number, and to the dot you can precisely manage your viewpoint in Warcraft 3, which wasn't possible for decades in this game. We got servers all across the world, 28 of them, supported by the community. You can reconnect if you have a little hiccup with your Wi-Fi. Maybe you can also watch all the games via Flow TV. Every single game that is played on this server is available to watch. All that with just a little launcher download. And if you want to help that team, you can do it. You can sign up as a moderator to look at reports and sort out the foul apples, the rare foul apples in this community. You can join them as a dev if you can code C#, .NET, React, Rust, TypeScript, or Node. And since we're doing this new launcher, we want to have it look as pretty as possible and as user-friendly as possible. So if you're a graphic designer or a UI UX designer, hit them up on the Discord. Sefid, Toxi, Abedinsky, etc. They have their DMs open. Also, if you want to help us with social media and brag about the activity on War3Champions on Twitter and Instagram, do that as well. What we are doing now is to set up the 4th quarterfinal between Starbuck and Kraft versus Chilla and Elecnum. For that, we need a little break. We also have to swap Remo out for Carson. Lots of stuff to do. You go over to W3Champions at W3Cfinals.backtowarcraft.com to buy one of these beautiful profile pictures if you want to equip yourself with an Archmage, a Warden, a Shadowhunter, or a Crippy and support the players in this tournament. You can do it right here at our partners of Matcherino. If you're not interested in these profile pictures, and I don't know, you should check your head maybe, but you can also contribute directly to the prize pool. $1,562 currently, 42 players in this tournament. As we said, they gotta eat. Go chip in. We have a little break. See you in a bit.